According to the CDC, in 2017, there were more than twice as many suicides in the United States as there were homicides. Suicide was the second leading cause of death among individuals between the ages of 10 and 34, and the fourth leading cause of death among individuals between the ages of 35 and 54. Overall, suicide was the 10th leading cause of death in the United States, claiming the lives of over 47,000 people. This averages to about one death every 11 minutes.
Have you ever felt like you wish that more people were aware of mental health?
Yeah, I think if more people talked about mental health, that it would be less of a stigma around it, and so people would feel like more ready to reach out to others and like speak up for themselves, talk about what they're going through.
I feel like there's a lot of people know like the baseline of it, but they don't really look for like the signs or symptoms, so like they don't know more in-depth information about it. They just know what is really just talked about.
Yeah, I think the more that we learn about mental health, the more we're able to help ourselves and help the people around us that we love.
Yes, because my sister has mental health issues, so I feel like just more awareness would make people more comfortable around the subject.
It's good to be aware because you can't help someone if you have no idea what they're going through. So if we're all more aware, I feel like we can help more people.
Have you ever lost someone to suicide?
Both of my great-grandparents committed suicide before I was born. So I never met them, but I know that it affected my grandma a lot and obviously my mom a lot, because my mom was actually the one who found them, which was obviously a lot of trauma for her to go through. So yeah.
Someone in my school did unfortunately commit suicide, and we had like a lot of counseling that happened in our school, and you can just feel like everyone walked around with heavy hearts, and it impacted everyone in the community.
My cousin attempted suicide at 17, and I had no idea that he was struggling at all. Even though we live a couple states away, I wish I could have done something more or been there for him.
Just recently, my mom's cousin committed suicide, and he was very close to my family, and my grandma is struggling with it a lot, and it affects me and my mom and that side of my family a lot because family reunions and things like that are going to be different now. We didn't really expect it, and he seemed like he lived just such a happy life, and nobody really knew that there was something else going on.
I have lost people to suicide, and I have almost lost a lot of people to attempted suicide. I lost my grandpa. I lost two people in my high school that never made it past the 9th grade. My best friends lost people. I've almost lost multiple family members. It's hard to find someone who isn't affected.
One of my friends that I played basketball with in high school and in middle school, him and his friend got in a really bad car accident. His friend got hurt, and he's paralyzed now. And the kid felt so bad that he killed himself, and it was the day of one of my exams, and it was probably the hardest week I've ever had.
Do you know of anything that represents suicide prevention and awareness?
I know that there's the Semicolon project where people get tattoos, and it represents how they could have ended a sentence, but they chose not to, someone's life.
There are a lot of different things that symbolize suicide prevention and awareness. I know May is Mental Health Awareness Month. I know the green ribbon symbolizes mental health awareness, and the yellow ribbon is suicide awareness. There's lots of foundations, there's projects, there's the National Suicide Prevention Lifeline, and the Semicolon is the biggest one.
I love the Semicolon just because in my high school that was a relevant theme because we did have a couple students pass away from suicide. I personally didn't know them, but it really gave me awareness of the issue and how it needs to be more prominent in our society.
I'm a really big Logic fan, and I know that he has a song where he sings about the number that you can call, which I think is really good because it's giving a global message saying hey, if you're in trouble, listen to this song and call this number.
I know the Semicolon is a big one, and the yellow ribbon for suicide prevention and awareness.
The Semicolon, which actually my stepmom just got a tattoo of on her wrist.
Have you ever heard about the Semicolon project?
Yeah, I have. I had a friend in high school who had the tattoo, and I know it's just like she was struggling or other people are struggling, so you get the tattoo to know like I did keep going, and it like reminds them. I think when they see it, it reminds them that they got through it and they can keep getting through it.
It's like a nonprofit organization that promotes like mental health, wellness, and suicide prevention and awareness.
Because like the semicolon is supposed to stand for this isn't an end, it's only a pause. So like even though you're having a bad day today, life will keep moving on and it will keep on getting better. So like that's like the whole big movement thing is like the semicolon is supposed to represent, oh, it's not an end, it's not a period, it's just a pause in the sentence or the pause in life.
What do you think the semicolon serves to do?
I think that it's a symbol of like, hey, you're going through a rough time, but like you can carry on. Like you can choose to like not end your sentence and like keep going and like live a life. And I think it's just kind of like encouraging to other people to see that, because it's like they see that you're struggling too, or that you have struggled, that you know someone that struggled, and that's just kind of encouraging to make them know that like they're not alone and they can ask for help.
I think that it serves to bring awareness. Like if you're going through it, you have it, other people are going through it, they have it. And I think seeing the symbol more, people are like, oh, it's not only me.
It goes to show that they stand in support of survivors or people with like those mental illnesses or like anything that people might be struggling with, even them themselves or people they're close with.
The semicolon serves to show people a sense of hope and healing and a reason to live and even stability. It carries a heavy significance by honoring those who have passed away due to suicide and supporting those who are going through hard times and spreading awareness on a global level. The semicolon shows people that it's safe to talk about things, it's safe to reach out, and it is safe to ask for help. I feel like the semicolon helps people relate in a way and feel like they're not alone, and it just calls for a better overall culture surrounding mental health.
What does the semicolon mean to you as an individual?
Well, I did have a family member attempt suicide, and fortunately it was unsuccessful, but it really has a different meaning now that I've been personally affected by it in my life.
As an individual, the semicolon honestly means a lot to me. Just with my personal experiences, I just want to remind myself and the people that I love that they're never going through it alone, and the dark times will pass and we will continue on.
I like to see that other people have also like been through things like this, and it just makes me feel more comfortable with the things that I've been through, knowing that other people can relate to my experience. It's really encouraging to me.
Do you know the signs of someone who is struggling with mental health?
So I've personally struggled with my own mental health, so most of the signs I know is just all from personal experience. It's really hard to do the simplest things like get out of bed, get dressed, do your makeup, do your hair. Even something as simple as showering can be really difficult to just find the motivation to do that. So I think one of the biggest signs to look out for is change in interests, change in how someone behaves and acts towards the things that they used to love.
I've been taught from my mom, she works at a psychiatric facility, to look for signs, not only for depression, but other things. You're more reserved, you cut ties with a lot of people, you just don't feel like doing as much, but sometimes they put on a brave face, so you try to have to read their facial expressions and read their body language to make sure they're not feeling something in that they're not showing.
Yeah, the signs can be different for everybody, whether they're hidden or up front. I do know the signs, it just can be challenging because not everybody shows that side of themselves. I just feel like it's our duty to be informed and be aware of what we can understand, though.
Manic episodes, depressive episodes, of course, large amounts of eating, small amounts of eating, if you see a change in their sleeping behavior, things like that, if they're used to be really interested in things and like all of a sudden they're just not interested in their favorite activities that they used to do, like their favorite hobbies.
How important is it to be aware of the signs?
It's important to be aware of the signs because you can potentially help someone from taking their life and talk them through it and help give them a reason to live, because they need it. They need that hope.
I think it's really important because so many people are afraid to open up. So if someone who is really struggling, one of their friends notices something and they go to them and ask, it's easier than that person having to ask for help.
To be aware of the signs, you have to remember that suicide doesn't discriminate. You can't help someone if you don't know the signs or if you don't know what they're going through. You can be the difference in someone's life if you're informed.
I think it's really, really important to know the signs just based on the fact that not everything is face deep. So like somebody could be having a really bad day and they could be smiling, but their body motions are like showing that they're not having a good day. But like if you can't recognize those signs and those symptoms and things, then are you going to be able to help them in any way? So I think knowing the signs is really, really important.
I just want people to know that it does get better. I mean, I still struggle with mental health, but when I was younger, I struggled way more than I do now. And I think just talking to other people and getting encouragement and knowing all the resources that I have now, especially at MSU, has helped me a lot to know that it's okay to not be okay sometimes.
To break the stigma.
I just want people to know that mental health is not something to be ashamed of, even though there's a lot of stigma around it. So I know that that is something that makes it hard for people to reach out, but I just wish more people kind of normalized it, because I know there's so many people that go through this.
I would want people to know that mental health shouldn't be stigmatized, and if you need help or if you feel like a friend needs help, just go after it. Like, don't waste time, because wasting time could mean someone's life is ended.
I want people to know that it's okay to reach out to people, it's okay to reassure people, and it's okay to be worried about people. Just let them know that they're not alone, and let them know that the hard times will pass, and you just never know how much of an impact you have on someone. So be kind, be present, and just be the difference.
I want people to know that there is always another option, that they don't have to end their life just because they think that things have gotten too overwhelming, because life has ups and downs, and the lows can be really low, but there are also really high highs, and there's always going to be a better option. There's always going to be someone that's there that is willing to help you no matter what, and there's always going to be people that love you, and that this decision could change their lives just as well as it could change yours.
The world is beautiful, and so are people, so let's make sure we take care of one another and ourselves too. Life is worth living. Your life is worth it. You deserve to be here for you. Do not silence your pain. Your pain and suffering matters because you matter. Reach out if you or someone you know is in need of help. Break the stigma surrounding mental health. It is okay to not be okay.